This is a map showcasing all the time zones around the world. I'm sure you could already notice some of the more outstanding weirdness on the map, like here, and this small one here, but divert your attention away from all that, and focus on Europe, precisely, Western Europe. The most notable thing here is the inclusion of France and Spain as part of this time zone, despite being classed as Western European nations. Adding on to this, the fact that the UK is essentially in line with the two countries, but uses Greenwich Mean Time instead. They used to originally follow Greenwich Mean Time, but obviously now, they don't. So why does Spain and France now follow Central European Time, instead of Greenwich Mean Time just like the other West Europe countries? Let's start with France first. Originally, France never had a unified time across the country, and instead time was measured based on solar time, which made towns and cities lag behind or in front of each other only by a few minutes, making travel a mild pain in the ass, since you'd have to always readjust time by a handful of minutes for a city a few hours away. But it all changed in 1891, when France adopted Paris Mean Time, the first standard time of France, meant to rival the UK's Greenwich Mean Time. By the way, since, they both hated each other, there was even a big international conference about where the center of world time should be, which the UK won by an almost unanimous vote, making GMT the center of world time. France was very salty about this, refusing to adopt or even align its clocks to GMT until 1911, and referred to GMT as Paris Mean Time, slowed by 9 minutes 21 seconds. It was used up until 1940, where the country was under occupation from the Germans. The German-occupied area of France followed German Summer Time, which was an hour ahead of France, and the unoccupied area followed French Summer Time, which was 1 hour ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, until 2 years later, that is, where it jumped up its national time to match the Germans, so railway times between occupied and free France were unified. It stayed like this up until 1945, when the war was coming to a close, in Europe at least, and now France would slowly but surely move its standard time back down to how it was before. It was planned to move back an hour in September, then again in November. But France only bothered with half of this, only going forward with the time change in September. They chose to cancel the second one in November only 2 weeks before. Why they did it, I don't know. Why they haven't changed it back, I also don't know, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the French too majorly, unlike Spain. Now let's talk about Spain, shall we? They had the same humble beginnings like France, following local solar time, then suddenly realized that the whole country using unified time was better. The Spanish Prime Minister proposed to the Queen Regent about following Greenwich Mean Time across the country, which got approved, and from the new year in 1901, Spain would follow Greenwich Mean Time. It stayed like this until March 1940, where the neutral fascist of Europe, Franco, just one day decided to move the time 1 hour ahead, mainly to join up with Germany, time zone-wise, plus being allies with them so stuff like economic trade and whatnot is a little easier. But after the war, Spain just never reverted back, which has affected the country kind of majorly over the years, affecting every side of day-to-day life, affecting their sleep schedules, work schedules, eating patterns. Hell, dinner time in Spain is the latest in the world. While a Spaniard is sitting down ready to eat dinner, someone else in the same time zone is getting ready to go to bed. That's how late it is. There has been a few ideas and proposals that reverting the time zone back to Greenwich Mean Time would be able to help out shifting life back to somewhat of a healthier schedule, but Spain's got bigger problems to deal with, and changing their time zone isn't on the to-do list for them at the moment. Maybe it will be in the future, but who knows. I guess you can say it's only a matter of time. But anyway, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.